Welcome to the Smashi Business Show. Today is Friday, February 13th, 2026, and I'm Warit Ahmed.
And I'm Kiki Virdag.
And for today's headlines, first up, Emaar posts record 2025 results as revenue jumps 44% with highest ever sales. Saudi Arabia, in a famous reshuffle, has named the PIF head Fahad Al-Saif as the new investment minister, bringing in a new era. And Naguib Sawiris backs the UAE digital school plan to train 100,000 Egyptian youth. It most certainly is a morning, and Naguib himself actually congratulated Mohammed Al-Abbar on his record 2025 results.
Hey.
Hi, Kiki. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me again, Ward. I see you're well rested after your fabulous panel at STEP conference yesterday.
God, I most certainly am. I feel like I've just, I know they always tell you like Q4 is the busiest time of the year, but I honestly think for like business people, it's Q1. It's Q1. It's just terror.
Do you think it's because we're all, holding on to winter to some extent?
Oh, for sure. But I think it's also the fact that we had Davos, you have the World Government Summit, you have Sharjah Entrepreneurship Festival, you have Web Summit, and I'm like, oh my God, am I keeping up enough? Am I there? And you have to make it because it's like, it's FOMO. Like I saw this founder online and they posted this. They basically go to these working spaces. And he was like, I was at the working space and he's like, none of the founders that I usually see are there. They're all at STEP.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's a good sign.
STEP Dubai this year. Yeah. Oh my God, Kiki, the branding was pink on ground.
Very fun.
I know that might seem shallow that that's the first thing that I mentioned, that the branding was pink on ground. But I thought that was a good change.
Do you know why they did it?
No, I spoke to the team. I asked. Because I love marketing. And they just said that we noticed that the logo did not change, but they said that we noticed that on ground, the pink is just warmer, it's funner.
It pops.
Right? It does pop. But yeah, I think STEP Dubai 2026, I think that was just crazy.
Yeah? And what was your biggest takeaway?
My biggest takeaway, see, look, I went to all these conferences last year, Kiki, and I just remember not all of them went the best for me. And I had, just me being me, I just blamed it on the conference. But then I came back this year and it was fabulous. It's like, I knew all the people. I knew every single name, every single person who just walked right beside me, and I got my interviews.
So what you're saying is it wasn't the conference, it was you feeling like you hadn't done enough research, or
the
network you knew?
It's more of like, how do I explain? I'll give you an example. Last year, I had met Fadi Ghandour for the first time, and he's the Aramix founder and the Wamda Capital chairman. And to see him again, and they recognize you, and you go up to them and you're like, hey, let's do that interview.
Yeah.
It's that sense of familiarity. I think that Ray, the founder of STEP Dubai, he said it best. It's almost like a reunion of the tech ecosystem, and you see the same people. But it was just so great to see all the founders.
Yeah.
All the people we write about, they're just there.
It's an inspiring space.
No, it's such an inspiring space. And it's like, especially for me, it's like, I feel like because I'm somebody who, not only my show host, but I write the stories I'm talking about, it was crazy. I was on this panel, Kiki, and it was between the former Minister of Investment of Jordan, Mudassir, I believe his name is, with Fadi Ghandour. And he was basically talking about this tool called Siraj. Siraj is this AI learning assistant developed for the Jordanian school system because their education system is not that strong. And it was developed by Amjad Masad, the Palestinian, Jordanian, American founder of Replit, the software builder,
no way.
the orange
I
one,
love Replit.
the $9 billion valued company. So it was crazy. I was just sitting there, I'm like,
a little wart sat between these.
Oh my God! I wrote this story. Like, what do you mean? Like you're like it's all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's all very, very well and real. But I think honestly, the standout one was we had this panel with the FoodX founder, Ahmed Al-Zaini. FoodX, they've processed billions of orders in the F&B sector. And the way that the entire story started is that in 2014, Ahmed was in Saudi and he came to basically order a meal at a shop, and he noticed, why am I filling this out with paper?
Yeah.
I feel like they're almost kind of like Club here. Yeah. When you're at the restaurants and it's the purple
QR code you scan.
It's the purple app. But I think that FoodX is that for Saudi. But it was a great panel. Me and Majid did it together. I believe it was at the center stage, and it was so interesting. Imagine 44% of their revenue is overseas.
Yeah.
It's a multi-million-dollar company.
Huge. I didn't know that.
It was so crazy, and I remember I asked him about, like, because he said we have the right governments. So I told him, I was like, okay, but like, do you have the right consultancies? You know, I was hinting at PwC, but I'm like, you know what, I won't shade them this time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real respectful. But I was like, do you think that Western consultancies should keep consulting on the Arab world?
That's such a good question.
Because-
What did he say?
And oh my God, honestly, he carried with it. He basically said, it's an option. He said, you know, it's not something that we should not consider an option, but he said that you should be careful. Mackenzie's writing with AI now. So it was just, I just think the entire panel, it's going to air tomorrow. It's going to air tomorrow.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Check it out, guys.
You should check it out. But honestly, it was
brilliant.
It was a very surreal experience to just know, like, all of that work I had done of making sure I know these people. It had come together.
Well, I feel that way about the headlines that you tend to cover with Majid.
Really?
I think, well, yeah, because you use the word surreal. Sometimes, you know, these facts and figures, and we kind of touched upon it in one of our previous ones. The scale of these things, sometimes it's hard to wrap our heads around. And it's the same for our first story, you know, this sort of year-on-year growth. And it's all, you're mentioning governments, and it's like fostering those relationships, championing this kind of thinking and this kind of talent. So I want to champion you and say hats off for yesterday.
Thanks,
it was really
Kiki.
fun to watch. I hope everyone checks out your panel tomorrow.
I hope they check it out too. But it's almost like I feel like, you know, you can write about something and you can believe in it, but then, like, after watching all of that and seeing those founders, those Lebanese, Jordanian founders, all in one space in Dubai, you kind of sit there and you're like, oh my God, like, this is the revolution of the Middle East. Like, these people are going places. I was shook. I was shook. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Moving to the first story of the day. Thank you so much for that, Kiki.
That was fun.
I think this is one that excites many. Emaar Development has delivered its strongest financial performance on record in 2025, posting property sales of 71 billion dirhams, up 9% year on year. Revenues climbed 44% to 27.5 billion dirhams, while profit before tax surged 52% to 15 billion dirhams.
Yeah, these results really reflect the continued confidence in Dubai's real estate market, driven by population growth, sustained global investor inflows, and a really stable regulatory framework. The company described 2025 as a year of operational efficiencies, discipline, expansion, and strong demand across master-planned communities.
Revenue backlog rose sharply to 125 billion dirhams, giving Emaar strong earnings visibility over the coming years. Now, the pipeline represents future income from sold but undelivered properties, reinforcing the depth of buyer demand and ongoing project momentum across Dubai.
Yeah, the board has proposed a whopping 4 billion dirham dividend, up 47% from last year. I mean, it's crazy, and the highest actually in the company's history. Subject to shareholder approval, it underscores management confidence in the cash generation and forward visibility.
In 2025, Emaar expanded its land bank by acquiring 36 million square feet with an estimated development value of 120 billion dirhams. The company launched more than 48 residential projects across flagship communities, accelerating pipeline growth.
Yeah, new phases were rolled out in the Valley, Bristol at Emaar Beachfront, and the Grand Polo Club and Resort. This expansion signals this continued appetite for these large-scale master-planned living as Dubai's population approaches 4.5 million residents.
Founder Mohammed Al-Abbar credited the broader UAE ecosystem for the performance. He, quote-unquote, said, "A stable regulatory environment, long-term planning, and openness to global investments allows developers like Emaar to plan with confidence and execute at scale."
Yeah, Al-Abar added that Emaar remains focused on building these communities that enhance that, Dubai, UAE quality of life, reinforcing the positioning not just as a developer, but a long-term urban architect aligned with Dubai's national vision.
Yeah, I think that this is so exciting for him. It is. At 1 Billion Summit, Kiki, he was saying, the job of like IPOing, that's the job of a real man. And he said, every single time I have to release my results, it's like I have to strip naked to the public.
Yeah. That is one way of putting it.
Yeah. But listen, it was a success.
Yeah.
It was a success. The shareholders got their dividends. You have 4 billion dirhams. But that does not quite compare to the scale of other companies like ADNOC. When we had the ADNOC CFO on the show, Mr. Ali Siddiqui, he said that they get $700 million in dividends.
Monthly?
Yearly.
Yeah.
And then they're going to start quarterly payments of their dividends. I'm like, get me on that board.
That's good. Yeah. I'll join. I'll hop on that as well.
This
That's
is
interesting.
Too good.
Wow.
But I think with Al-Abar, Kiki, I think the fact that he has diversified his business on such an extreme level, I know I made that comparison to ADNOC, but if we really talk about Al-Abar, he has multiple enterprises.
Yeah.
It's not just really real estate that he operates in. Last year, did you see Lana's newsroom?
No,
He
I
launched a newsroom with this former ITP guy. It was like a big launch.
That's incredible.
It's all in Arabic.
Yeah.
He hired Westerners to run it. Interesting.
Yeah.
But it was like,
How does that work?
not sure. But they were doing ads all over Dubai Mall. He also announced that they're going to build this new mall where basically cars can drive in the mall. And then that place called Clay?
Yeah.
The one with the parathas?
Yeah.
That's by his company. He has a company called Al-Abar. I know, I shocked you. Did I shock you there?
A little bit. Yes and no. Entrepreneurs at this scale.
Yeah, true.
You can't stop them. But okay.
Yeah, so it's this company, no worries. It's this company called Al-Abar Enterprises, and it owns this subsidiary called Another.
Okay.
And Another does like a lot of food concepts, and Clay is one of them.
Yeah.
And so he's gone out of his way to do so much, even though like he had a Trump Tower abroad in collaboration with Jared Kushner that got canceled. The mini Dubai situation in Hungary didn't work out.
Yeah.
In Budapest. So I think this is a success for him.
That is
great.
That is big news, and all of this pointing towards that overarching mission of quality of life. Which the more they scale these kinds of projects, and I like the terms that are used for this. The community quality of life, and I think that's what these projects are really trying to signal. Also, fascinating.
It is.
Ward, you just keep on info.
No, but girl, I think that's all you too. Like, I have a question for you, Kiki.
Yeah.
Al-Abar has said it multiple times that number one, he is not a fan of meetings, and that number two, he does not believe in marketing. As somebody, you were telling me about how like you've worked on multiple production houses, the kind of experience that you have. Like, what's your personal opinion on this? Look, meetings one I can get behind. We don't need to be chatting that much.
It could be an email.
Just message me. That's fine. But the marketing one, I'm not so sure about. Because yesterday I saw this at City Walk. Sarwa, right?
Yeah.
By Mark Chahwan. Girl, they have like this big video that's like playing at City Walk right beside that university, the Canadian University.
Yeah.
And I was so impressed. I filmed it. I'm like,
Did you?
Go Mark. Like, I don't know Mark, but like, I like it.
That's impressive because, most of the time we're walking through the streets like this now, unless,
so true.
Observational of these amazing billboards. This, the conversation around marketing, that's one hell of a topic to broach because, ironic, if you look at, the scale of Emaar. When you arrive in Dubai, when you land, one of the first things you're actually seeing is the names on the buildings.
Is that Emma? It's that audio. Sorry, go on. My bad.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
But it is that. And then, a perfect way of looking at marketing is, I don't happen to have a bottle of water here, but people see, okay, the bottle of water, and most businesses assume that marketing is this, the lid of the water bottle. And when you don't have sales, open the lid. When you do, close the lid. Oh, there's too many customers, too much demand. But actually, marketing is the water inside the water bottle. And that's. I'll leave you with that. We can pick that up next time on why you think I've said something like that. But that is essentially the marketing is the product itself. It's the identity. It's not so much. It's not actually even what you're selling, but it's how you're selling it. And people want that authenticity. And so I think, to come back to the story of bearing himself to the world, I mean, great. Like, people want to know what's happening and they want that transparency. So, and it's impossible for most people like myself to wrap our heads around these insane figures.
Yeah. But you know what it also is? I also think, like, with these billionaires, you're not actually, though, telling us all the information, because in the end of the day, I watched this video of him. I was shook. If you go on YouTube and you search Mohammed Al-Abbar's name, you'll find that he's done a bunch of interviews that did not get that much press or marketing, and they just have like 20 views, the YouTube video, and you open it and you see what he's saying. The fact that I think in Serbia, he's paying like £1 billion in taxes, and the kind of homes that he's building, and I'm like, these are numbers that we are not privy to. I think with Emaar, its scale is definitely massive and it captures Dubai, but he has Eagle Hills. There is so much going on there that we perhaps don't know. So,
maybe one for the next story.
Exactly.
Deep dive.
Next, this is a huge reshuffle. Saudi Arabia has appointed Fahad bin Abdul Jalil Al-Saif as the Minister of Investment in a royal decree that was issued on Thursday, replacing Khalid Al-Falih. Al-Falih was relieved of the role and named Minister of State and a member of the Council of Ministers.
Yeah, Al-Saif previously led investment strategy and global capital finance at the $925 billion public investment fund, another figure that's hard to wrap our heads around. His elevation places a senior sovereign wealth executive at the center of Saudi Arabia's foreign direct investment drive.
Now, the appointment signals closer alignment between the Ministry of Investment and the Public Investment Fund. Now, the financial engine behind many of the kingdom's mega projects and international capital deployments.
Saudi Arabia is really intensifying efforts to attract global capital as it pushes to expand the non-oil sectors and deepen private sector participation under Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's Vision 2030 strategy.
The leadership change comes as both the government and the Public Investment Fund prepare updated 5-year plans, widely viewed as a strategic reset aimed at accelerating diversification and strengthening long-term economic resilience. I think with this entire reshuffle, it was actually pretty big on feed, and it was pretty big on the news too, because with Kiki, with the old minister, he has been there for quite some time, Khalid Al-Falih, and he's a familiar face. He's a very familiar face. In all the interviews that he's done quite a great job. I believe he had the role since 2020.
Okay.
So like he took Saudi Arabia through COVID.
That is, that's very impressive. But that's surprising that he was relieved of his role. Do we know? Has there been any sort of public statement as to why?
You know what? Actually, with the entire royal decree by King Salman, it was they have a wave of new ministers that are coming in. I don't really think that this is a topic of concern that maybe Western media outlets would make it. I just think that you have a new generation that is coming in. I think that for Khalid, this is a big step for him. He's now going to be leading a new department. He's been promoted, and that's what we always love to hear. But I think what's interesting is that it's a PIF head. If you know PIF, and if you listen to Yasser Al-Rumayyan, the chairman, speak, and he's behind the success of PIF, he will tell you that the kind of strategy they have is that we do not enter any investment that we cannot leave. We need to be able to exit. And I think right now, if you're seeing with Saudi, they are, like for example in America, by the way, they let go of a lot of their stocks in like major tech companies. I saw on Pinterest was one of them. But it's like they're exiting certain investments and they're moving the money elsewhere. But that is a strategy that they've always had. And I think the fact that you have a PIF head that is used to that kind of financial cycle and moving things like that, to then move to lead the country's new investment strategy, that is so exciting.
Well, and it makes sense. This is the whole 2030 vision that I actually wanted to ask you about, on sort of which aspect you're most interested in, because you see a lot of their movements heading towards that ultimate goal, and so it makes sense, the prioritization of moving away from the oil-based incomes to investing in the culture and in the entertainment space, and attracting tourism and things like that. And I haven't been yet, and I'm very excited.
Same.
But what
I
are you?
went to Saudi.
No.
May the first time it be we go together.
Six Flags.
We go there. FYI, we're gonna go. We're gonna be there.
Put in your leave now.
Manifesting. But not even leave. Like, what if we cover it? That would be so cool. But what I'm most excited for?
For the 2030 vision. I mean, have there been plans that you've picked up on in your
plans
years
that
of
I've picked up
reporting?
on? You know what I honestly think that it is? I was reading this report, and that term, by the way, 2030, Vision 2030, Morocco had it a long time ago. Other nations had it, and it was McKinsey that came in and it coined the term Vision 2030. That was a part of the big scheme, the big, that big consulting marketing scheme. But I feel like Vision 2030 has honestly surpassed its own self in a way. Because, you have these Saudi founders, these homegrown businesses, like Ahmed Al-Zaini, the Foodix founder. When he was talking on the panel, Kiki, I feel like I'm spoiling the panel, but trust me.
Keep the soundbite.
Trust me, what he will tell you is way better than what I'm saying. But he was saying, back in 2017, back in the day, the kind of things that his company has done now, they weren't really able to do. I think for me, what I'm excited to see is more women like Yara Namla. Because in Saudi, there's one female billionaire that stands out, and it's Lubna Al-Alayan. It's a very big conglomerate. They're the franchisee for Burger King. And she was actually the first woman to get a job in Saudi Arabia. She started 18 years ago through her father. No, she was actually the only woman in that company for a good 17 years. Wow. That is some strength. Girl, I would not be able to do it.
We should get her on the show.
We should. I hope she's listening somewhere. But it's kind of that, you have Lubna, and now we're seeing these faces pop up, and one of them is Yara Namla. She has this company called When Minds Meet. Imagine 5 subsidiaries. She's 26 years old.
26.
She has So Matcha. She has Moon Glaze. So many companies.
26?
Yes.
Girl, what are we doing?
And look, what are we doing for real? What are we doing? And imagine her makeup brand Moon Glaze, it went on Sephora. I think for me, what I'm excited to see with Vision 2030, and this is something that the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman made possible, and it's so exciting. I'm excited to see more women. I'm so excited to see more women. Yara's story, it's so inspiring that more young ladies like us, you can do stuff like this because and you know what? People, by the way, will always tell you, Saudi women in Saudi Arabia, it's actually, you know what it is, by the way? It's not even just an issue in Saudi. It's the entire world.
Absolutely.
Sexism is still a problem. It's still a problem. A man will do something. A man will only ever be measured by his actual work, not his attitude, none of that. But woman, attitude, that is all on the measuring scale. So I just think for me with Vision 2030, I know it's so cliche, but oh my God.
No word.
More women in power. We need that. We do.
I love that, it's a recurring theme that we sort of inadvertently end up touching on, is that sort of, okay, let's put the right things on the map, and let's make the conversation. I think there's a bit of a push for that, of course, in the West already, but you're right, there is still this misconception around, especially from, Western media, around the presence of women in Saudi, and the sort of the rise of women in business, and the attitudes that befit them, and the way that we are, criticized, whether that's from an aesthetic perspective or from a leadership perspective. So it would be really awesome to see these women step into the public face as well.
Exactly. And it's it is also a problem in the Western world. I see it so much on I landed on what's it called, employee TikTok for some reason. Okay. I'm there.
Cool.
And I have a bunch
What's
of
happening there?
And it's I have a bunch of what are they called? Career coaches talking. And it's it's women who are telling you that oh, my manager didn't promote me because she thought that I always looked too good and that I had the money.
Yeah.
Or
or you put smileys in your emails.
Or I told them that I got married and then I didn't get promoted because they thought that I would give birth soon. Yeah. And it's you have this all of this ongoing conversation, and it's it's, especially as a woman, I'm just so ready. I'm so ready to pave the way for less
And
of
you
that.
are, girl. You are.
You are, girl, too.
And it sets up quite nicely the next story, which is related to schools and education.
Yeah,
So, I think that is where it starts.
That is where it starts, and Egyptian billionaire Naguib Sawiris is very aware of this. So his foundation has partnered with the UAE's digital school to launch Jusur Al-Furas, a program targeting 100,000 Egyptian youth with market-focused digital training and structured employment pathways.
Yeah, he's backed by Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum's global initiatives. The program blends tech-enabled learning with direct hiring pipelines. So at least 10,000 participants are expected to secure confirmed job placements.
The agreement was signed by Umar Sultan Al-Ulama, Saeed Al-Atar, and Sawiris, formalizing cooperation between the digital school, the Sawiris Foundation for Social Development, and recruitment platform Shaghalni.
The initiative aims to address the youth unemployment through skills alignment and employer integration, positioning digital education as this bridge between training and the real labor market demand currently in Egypt.
Job creation has long been a fundamental pillar of the foundation's mission. Sawiris said, marking the foundation's 25th year and calling the partnership a strategic step toward youth empowerment and economic integration. I think with this entire story, one, it's really inspiring.
Yeah.
But two, I honestly just see it as when you have these foreign billionaires, when I say the word foreign, no, he is based here. He has a lot going on here. His real estate company, Modify.
Yeah.
I mean it in the sense of like when you see like an Egyptian, right? Partnering with the government. And then you see Sunny Varki, you have an Indian, partnering with the government, the Sunny Varki Foundation, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed's foundation, bringing together Mr. Beast, flying out all these influencers to Africa. When you see all of this, like, what does it tell you?
Yeah.
It's like how these billionaires are working.
Yeah. Well, we usually associate it to billionaires. You've got the word monopolization, but actually it feels like diversification and integration is feels like that's more of the trend now. And I mean, I think also, the fascinating thing of Sawiris is that push for education done in a way that doesn't feel gratuitous. So Modify.
What does that mean?
Oh, girl!
Hold up.
Tell me. Dictionary. No, I'm joking.
Oh my God. I need to know.
Look at it like a modified. Aside from the varying degrees of success and the stories that have ensued from that, is as a core concept, Modify is meant to serve as a platform that is very native to all of the sort of Gen Z, Gen Alphas. I'm technically millennial, but including me, financial literacy. The things that they don't teach you in schools. And that is clearly a mission that he's still pushing for, even back home. And I think, whichever way we want to look at that core mission, at least from a perspective of positive outcome, that is what the platform is doing.
Yeah.
Now, I see your face. You want to say something.
No, I agree
You're
with
just
you.
processing.
I'm processing. No,
Okay.
keep going. Sorry, my serious face was on.
It's like we were saying, the move from diversification and / integration. I'd like to see this one. I mean, Modify, we've seen what it's doing, but I'd love to see this new push and how successful that will be back in Egypt. Whether there's set up for whether there's a population there that's keen to receive this kind of push. I can't talk to that too much because I don't know.
No, you know what I'm honestly thinking about, Kiki?
Yeah.
No, I was looking at you like that because I was thinking about Khalif al-Habtour.
Yeah.
So Khalif al-Habtour recently came out and he said, we're opening 5-car showrooms in Syria just as they're leaving Lebanon and terminating all the employees there. Lots of reshuffles going on in the company, Al-Habtour Group. But let me tell you something about Al-Habtour Group.
Yeah.
They own schools in the UAE. They own 2 schools, Emirates International School Meadows and Emirates International School Jumeirah. And Emirates International School Jumeirah is placed right beside Metropolitan. And if you go into the Sheikh Zayed Road, you'll see Bentley, which I'm pretty sure they franchise in the region, and Mitsubishi. But what I'm trying to say here is that, because I went to one of the schools, I went to EISJ.
Okay.
I did. And you know, I
was going to ask that.
I did. I knew all of, I know Khalaf al-Habtour's granddaughters, and they're so amazing. But what I'm actually trying to tell you is that when you come and you see millionaires and billionaires start these educational systems and they start these schools, honestly, that is a strategy. And I think all of us should be looped into it. And I think back in the day, like my dad himself, major fan of Khalaf al-Habtour. He got the book going, he read the entire thing. And you know what my dad told me? He was like, the reason why I wanted you to go to that school owned by that billionaire is to have the kind of network that that billionaire did. And I'm like, that is some good logic, Dad. Yeah. And like, I wasn't really taking it seriously, though. I won't lie to you.
Your dad was in the right path.
He understood it. And what I'm trying to say here is that with Naguib doing this, these 100,000 students, are going to be a part of the elite of Egypt. That is, I think, how people should really think about it.
Yeah.
Of a person like Naguib, the kind of, he's in North Korea, I don't know what, 3 million mobile users, and he's doing this in Egypt. I'm telling you, Egypt's elite, the people who get to go to Sahel, and they get to do all this cool stuff, they're going to be a part of this program.
Yeah.
So if you're do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's honestly just a network thing. When these billionaires get rich, when they get rich, they are rich. When they get rich, I notice they start media companies and they start schools.
Yeah, but No, but I'm with you. Of course, everything's strategy. Like I'm being too much of an optimistic humanitarian angle onto this.
Oh, I did not see it like that at all. Oh my God, sorry.
I do that, but it's because you know it's so easy to slip into this is strategy and there's a rationale behind it, and like does it actually get enforced in this way, or is this just a PR stunt, that kind of thing? But ultimately, I think you know to try and add the positive aspect is
you think it's humanitarian?
No, I don't. But I realize that the way that I was expressing it might seem like I'm very like doe-eyed about it.
That's your perspective though, and that works too. You know,
it's like a perspective. It's not the
like
if
I was rich, I definitely would start humanitarian foundations.
Well, yeah, but and that is some people genuinely do have that ambition to do good, but others, it might be more of a strategic move. And ultimately, we are, in the UAE. And so it is important to understand that some of the, the biggest players are networking and they're all connecting with each other. So
and if you want the elite to keep being elite, they need to be educated by the elite. I think that's what it is. And that's a wrap for today, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into the Smashi Business Show. Make sure to follow us across all social media channels at Smashi Business and stay ahead with our daily newsletter. You'll find the subscription link in the description. Thank you so much for being here, Kiki.
Thank you for having me. This was a Smashi Business Show, a Smashi Business production, part of the Augustus Media Podcast Network, and a big shout out, of course, to more than 2 million monthly listeners across all platforms. You guys make this all possible. If you're one of them, we appreciate you. Have a smashing day.